Hey, Riaz.
Hey, Nepali, how's it going?
Welcome back to not season 4, episode 4. You're saying season all the time, and it makes me confused.
Yeah, I'm trying to push for this being season 3. Every time we take a break, I think it's a new season, but I also understand, being on episode 10, season 7 doesn't really serve us or the
It's
audience.
confusing, and I actually stopped using seasons
Yeah,
in the titles. Sorry you had to find out this
it's
way.
just, it's still live on in my head.
It has been a while since we last filmed an episode.
Yeah, a lot has changed since the last episode.
A lot has changed. We're not going to go into that.
Oh, absolutely not.
But we will talk about what that change has inspired in us, which I think it's May now. So we're 5 months into 2025.
Yes.
And I feel like 2025 has really been a year of creativity for both of us.
Yeah, I would say so.
Do you feel like, because I feel like we're both generally creative people. Like we enjoy making things and watching other people make things. Do you think this year has been more creative for you than others, or just year of creativity, but like this is par for the course?
I think it's more like inspired for me than creative. Because I don't know, I never really
Okay.
considered myself creative ever. Because it's like to create, it's like creatives create. And I don't really create as much, more so I refine really well. I'm like, I have like a decent ear and I can see things and fix things. But in terms of actual creation and like my own songs or whatever, or, drawing or whatever, I don't really do that as well. I have like a writer's block in that sense. And I don't know if that's getting too into semantics because like I play the
Well,
guitar and that's a lot of people would consider that a creative endeavor by default.
yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you feel like you're not creative because you're playing other people's songs on guitar?
Yeah, I would say so. Like I think the crux of a good musician isn't like how beautiful they sound all the time. It's how they create the music, because you can find a dime a dozen of incredible cover artists on YouTube, but it's like, are they creating their own music? That's like the tough part. So it's like I kind of am skipping step one and I'm decent at step two, but I feel like step one is where it's like, wow, that's impressive.
I think you would definitely have to count playing songs, like playing songs counts as creativity.
Yeah, because I think I have like musical body dysmorphia is something I
Yeah, I think that's a
'cause
good analogy.
yeah, because there was maybe it was like last month or so. You and your brother were at my house, and I was just playing some guitar, and I'm like, I'm not an expert. I'm not even close. I'm an intermediate at best. And you were both like, this is wrong. This is
Wait,
not.
that's so funny that you bring that up also because I just took a screenshot the other day. I was in this app, Guitar Tuna, I think it is, to like
Okay.
tune my guitar.
Yeah.
And it like was asking introductory questions and it was like, what level are you at? And intermediate was like, I know a few songs on guitar.
Oh,
You were in like the master level. You were absolutely beyond the intermediate or even like advanced.
yeah, I guess. Because, like, from the classical sense, for context, is like, I think I'm late intermediate officially if you were to go to school for it. Late intermediate at my best. But
Sure. But I don't think
it's.
anybody asking that question. So
No.
here's some context. Maybe we should have this conversation here.
Yeah.
The context is you trying to figure out if you're an intermediate or if you're an expert, with Devin and I telling you and every bystander telling you you're an expert or you're at least very advanced.
Yeah, I think I'm like. Because now I'm trying to think of it in different fields where it's like, if someone's like, oh, yeah, I'm an all right cook, and then they make some
Yeah,
incredible. And it's like,
right.
yeah, but I didn't go to like culinary school and was formally
Exactly.
trained. It's like,
And also nobody asking you. I think it would be different if you were at like a guitar conference
yeah.
for classical guitar where everybody there is using the same scale and also going to all be like towards the advanced level of the scale.
Yeah.
But if a random person asks you like, "Oh, you play guitar? Like what level are you?" They're talking about the whole scale and they're talking about a weighted scale where like only like 60 people are experts in the world. So like they're cutting off that portion of the scale to
Yeah.
begin with.
Yeah, it's just tough because I know, like, logically, in terms of like everyday vernacular, it's definitely not like I'm kind of missing the mark on this one. But then also, I went to Guitar Center a few days ago just to like try some guitars out, and there's just one guy playing classical music, and I'm like, that's an expert. I'm like, that's
But you
not
didn't
me.
think you could have played at that same level?
Not right now, no. Like
Really?
there is dynamics to it and levels and just like an intention to the way he played that I could get there, and I
Yeah.
can do that on easier pieces. But he was just playing like some of the classical repertoire, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty. He had a beret on. He was a little bit older. He had a beret on. That like,
Maybe that should be the scale.
yeah,
Would you wear a beret while you're should you be
I
wearing a
would
beret while you're
never
playing?
wear a
Yeah,
beret.
so maybe you'll never truly be an expert.
I don't think so. Like he just looked distinguished. Like
Yeah.
because I wanted to be like when he was leaving, I was like, wow, it was really good. How long you been playing? To start a little. I didn't say anything. Like I was like, that's an expert. He's just
Because you were intimidated by the beret?
yes. It was the beret. It wasn't the playing.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But yeah, I guess to circle back to your original question of is this like a more creative year? I think it, in some ways, it is. I would say because it is like we've seen a lot of live music and we have more live music scheduled to go see just some like cool concerts, and seeing that is kind of like it gives you a template to like kind
Yeah.
of strive for, or it's just I don't know, there's something to it, you know, when you see it and
Yeah.
experience it, or it's just like, you know, steel sharpens steel, and it's like, wow, I want to go back and practice, you know. When you come back from a concert and it's like 12 and you're like kind of exhausted, like 2 beers in, you're like, yeah, I'm picking up the guitar. I need to just do a little bit,
Okay.
just see, you know, but it's like it is inspiring.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I guess I said it was more inspired than creative. But I
Yeah.
think it is creative too, where it's like when you see
Yeah.
someone, maybe they're not even like super popular. Like when we saw Maro and Nasaya. It's like Nasaya didn't have like a crazy amount of views, but it's like really good music. And so I'm like, wow, that's someone who's doesn't have like the fame I feel like he should have, but it's still really good. So I'm like, wow, anyone can do it. It doesn't matter if you're
Yeah.
popular or not. It's just about, you know, trying and putting yourself out there, which is cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Well,
would say it's
I
more.
have two thoughts on that. One is that that's what happens when you have such good taste as we do. You just find all the like little unpopular people. You know, we
Sure.
don't go for the
Yeah.
popular people.
Sierra Farrell, just
Yeah,
super
who
niche.
is she?
Yeah.
Dope Lemon. Never heard of him.
I don't. Okay, on a sidebar, my YouTube music was just recommending some artists, and one of them was like Mild Orange or something, and it just I googled it everything. There was no relationship to Dope Lemon,
Was the music like the same?
kind of, but it wasn't like I googled like, is this like a sister band or something, or is this like his younger cousin? It's like no, it's
It's
just
like how serial killers have copycats. It's like that. Like
All the-
I'm mild orange.
yeah, I'm all it was Mild Orange. I think it was Mild Orange. It was something orange, but it was like
Oh God.
yeah. I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I remember the second thing I was gonna say. It is
Really?
that I feel like our podcast is that it's a very high quality output that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
That we're just creating for the sake of creating.
Yeah. We need to like make alternative like YouTube accounts or Reddit accounts and just start like, wow, this podcast is so underrated and these guys just really
Oh, you haven't been doing that?
no
Oh,
just
just me.
just going to like yeah, like allrecipes.com, like great steak for eats, but this podcast now that is savory.
I think Year of Inspiration is good, but I also feel like it just overlaps so naturally with Year of Creation because it's like you're inspired to create something. And I feel like
Yeah.
I'm using creation and creativity in the broadest sense of the word.
Yeah.
Like the act of engaging with your environment and developing something. If it's even if it's like a song that you wrote or a song that somebody else wrote and you're singing it because you like the way it feels when you play or you like the way it feels like it makes you feel when you sing it. I still think that that's creativity.
Yeah, it is because like especially once you get familiar with the piece itself,
Yeah.
then yeah, you do put your own flavor in it here and there, subconsciously, I would
Yeah.
say. You know, if you're actually playing with intention,
Yeah.
then I do believe that is a creative act.
Yeah. I think there's something beautiful about creation. Like when you are covering a song, you get to interact with that song however you want to. When we went to the Goldford meet and greet,
Yeah.
and somebody was asking like, what do these lyrics mean? And he was like, well, what do they mean to you? I thought that was so cool, and I've thought about that moment a lot because I'm sure as an artist, of anything, whether it's like a visual thing like painting or something or a song, you do have some intention, I'm sure, that you're putting into whatever you're writing or whatever you're creating and what you expect people might be able to get out of it.
Yeah.
But then there's this like secondary consumer angle where you are listening to the words and having your own interpretation of it. I think the beautiful thing about art is that you can interpret it however you want to. And a lot of times it's like however you need to interpret it in the moment.
Yeah.
But it does raise the question for me of like, is there a right or wrong way to approach art? Like, because I feel like when you're reading books in like English class, like I think back to school days, and you would be reading this book and be like, well, the room had purple curtains, and they'd be like, well, the purple curtains symbolize royalty and how he was never close with his father, and
Yeah.
it symbolizes all these things. And as a student, a lot of times you hear that and you go, no, it doesn't. Like, this guy definitely just wanted to write that there were purple curtains. It raised the question for me back then, and I still feel it now, like, is it your job as a consumer of art to try to understand the artist's intention, or does art really just exist for the purpose of you to interpret as the consumer?
For me, I think it's one of those situations where I'm a firm believer, at least for myself, of you have to like learn the rules before you break them.
Okay.
And I think this would apply here, at least for me, in a sense of where purple curtains could mean anything. It could, context matters as well. But knowing that, purple's like a color of royalty, you know, and it could have some spiritual stuff or whatever, or but then it doesn't have to mean that. But knowing it could mean that, and that's a popular interpretation, the same way red could mean like anger in the West, and it could mean love in the East. Knowing that just gives you more ammunition to decipher and interpret. Because it doesn't have to mean that. It could mean a whole different story. Because you were saying, could it be interpreted in a right or wrong way? And I think it depends on your goal, right? If you're trying to be like an art critic or whatever, I think it could help to know all that background and history. And if you're just enjoying it casually, might not give anything to know that. Or maybe knowing the history would lead you astray because this is something that was, written in the Caribbean or something, and it means something completely different because of their history, but you only know East and West. Where does Caribbean fall in that? So it could matter. It could lead you astray there, but I think having a good understanding of the fundamentals could help you going forward. In the same sense, you don't need to know scales and music theory to be a great musician, but it has helped a lot of musicians build a strong foundation. So I think it's like that. But at the same time, it's like, what is the goal of art? For me, it's like, I think art should be moving physically and mentally, and so
Yeah.
if it's not, I think that's bad art,
Yeah.
because sometimes you'll see fantastic art that's, like a painting that's masterfully painted, but it's like, I'm not moved by it. Hear a song like, there's like a lot of math music now, or just this stuff where it's like, that's really technical and great, but it's exhausting to listen to. It's not, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
But wow, is that impressive? I have to practice 10 years to play something like that,
Yeah.
But it's like, is it telling a story? It's like, for me, that's where I'm at, but I take more of a wishy-washy approach to it, with music. I think for me, it's like a lot of subconscious and intentionally playing to that and what you're telling a story, but that's built off a foundation of like rigorous practice. And, so you're not thinking about what's going on with the hands, you're thinking about how you're interpreting and projecting and sharing.
Yeah. I think that dynamic and those questions come up a lot in today's world because there is so much short form content and even long form content like music, which is like kind of sad to think that that counts as long form content, but like a whole song. How often do we hear a whole song anymore? When you're like on TikTok, it's literally like 30 seconds if you've made it that far into the video. And like people are making music just for like TikTok essentially. Like
Yes.
they're writing songs that they want to become the song of the summer or a song that they want to blow up on TikTok. And you like your songs get heard because you're marketing them on TikTok. And it's really interesting to think about people developing music for that purpose in this concept that you kind of know that songs aren't going to last that long anymore. Like when I was in I remember my mom used to make fun of us when we were in middle school because we would say that a song was old if it
Hmm.
was from like last year or the year before.
Yeah.
And she was like, old? Like, that song just came out. And when you
Yeah.
think about how we've accessed music over time,
Yeah.
or how we've accessed music over time, it makes sense. Like and I love thinking about this. I think about this like probably once a week. Like in the 80s and 90s and even the early 2000s a little bit. Like you were getting music on like records, like vinyl, on CDs, on cassettes. You really had to go out of your way to procure music. So it oftentimes I feel like meant something to you because you either had to go out and pay for this thing or you're like recording it off the radio. And so like
Yeah.
you have to time you're like waiting with your cassette and you have to time it and hit record. So there's this like personal meaning that the music has for you at the time. Music becomes more available once it's available like online. And
Hmm.
by the time like I was in elementary school, middle school, it was really music was a little bit more accessible. Like we had iPods, you could kind of grab one song at a time and curate your playlists and have them available to you whenever you wanted. Like you could walk with your music, which I feel like wasn't really a thing before. Now you can listen to any song that you want ever all the time because we have streaming services.
Hmm.
So there really doesn't need to be any meaning for you. Like I have added so many songs to playlists that I heard like 5 seconds of and was like, oh, this is kind of good. I'm going to add it and listen to it later.
Yeah.
Never listened to it again. But it's in my liked songs. It's on my playlist.
Yeah.
It's as accessible to me as someone in like the 80s going out and buying like a record of their favorite band or something. But it's like one song that I heard on TikTok that I actually don't like that much when I go back and listen to it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that because I do think that's like intentional, right? Like now because music's so accessible, everyone can do it. Like you can just throw up something on Spotify, right?
Yeah.
Like you can throw it on YouTube or whatever. And so now you have this oversaturated market, especially if you're not established already. And so how do you stand out? Like the catchiest intro ever, the catchiest
Yeah.
hooks, the catchiest choruses, where it's like more, I don't even want to call it, it's like formulaically gimmicky, where it's
Oh.
like you're trying to just catch someone. That's it. You just want to get them there and go, wow, that's a catchy tune. Let me whistle it. Let me think about it. Let me put it in a short. Let me put it in a TikTok, whatever. And so I think that's like part of it. And then on
Yeah.
top of it, just how it's been monetized so heavily, toward like in the 80s, you have all these songs about, I'm thinking of like Iron Maiden, where they're like singing about history, or like Zombie, or like Bob Marley. They're just like talking about, peace and love and
Yeah.
anti-war stuff. And I feel like the mainstream stuff now, well, that was mainstream back then. Now it's like different. It's almost like getting by in a sense. Not that that's bad. It's a reflection of, I guess, the industry and the times.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it's just, I don't want to call it vapid, but it's like not as, it's not going for, it's not trying to be so profound. It's more like, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm at, this is my day, this is my
Yeah.
struggles,
Yeah.
which is all valid.
Yeah.
But it's almost felt like they're singing to a bigger picture before, and now it's more
Yeah.
individualized. I don't know.
But
Is
it
that
makes
true?
me kind of sad to think about. Like I don't ever want to be like, oh, things used to be better than they are
No.
now because I think, every generation probably thinks
Yeah.
I think part of it is just an attachment you have to the way life used to be, not actually the value of it. But I do question right now, like how many songs that I listen to that are new songs are gonna be my favorite song, like a song that I listen to 5 years from now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of songs that I really love that are new songs, and I listen to them like 1,000 times in a month,
Yeah.
and then I never listen to them again.
Yeah, same.
There are very few songs that really like resonate with me, but like when I think about my like top songs that I listen to, like the one that comes to mind is like Ribs by Lorde. Like
Okay.
that song, oh my god, I'll be listening to that song until the day I die. That song's gonna make me feel
Really?
something every single time. Gregory Alan Isakov, same thing. Like
Yeah.
his songs make me feel something every single time. I'm trying to think if there's like any songs recently that I've found. I think there have been some Manchester Orchestra songs, but I don't think
Yeah.
they're that new. Like I don't think they've come out in the last 5 years.
No, man. I think, yeah, Manchester Orchestra is kind of older. I would
Yeah.
say.
Has there been any song? I'm trying to think. Like, has there been any song that has come out
Lifeline.
in the last? Oh, great point. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
But that's not, you wouldn't find that through
it's not on.
traditional means,
Yeah, that's true.
you know?
Right. It's not. It might not be like a TikTok song.
Yeah. Like you kind of have to go out of your way to find that stuff, which is
Yeah.
cool. But it's also, it's fun being part of that club in a sense. Not to
Yeah.
sound too pretentious, but
No,
you
you
know,
can
it's
sound pretentious.
yeah. But then yeah, it's not like you wouldn't stumble upon that naturally, I feel like, unless you're looking for it. I don't know if that's by design.
Yeah. No, I definitely am not saying that no good music has been released. I'm just trying to think about like most of the songs that I've listened to in the last 5 years since 2020.
Yeah.
How many of those have been songs that really have resonated with me? I would say some of the gold for it. But I think, again, just to go back to this being like the year,
Hmm.
I think this has been a year where I've found a lot of that music that does resonate with me. And that's
Yeah.
probably will stick with me moving forward. And
Hmm.
also, I've bought all these vinyls now, so
Oh, so
I
you're kind
have
of going
to.
back to that
I'm going
80s.
back to that. Like,
Yes. Sunk
I'm
cost fallacy.
curating. Yes. No. Wait. No. No. I'm curating
Yeah.
a selection of songs that mean something to me
Sure. No.
and reducing the availability of all the other distractions. And like a lot of times in the mornings, I'll just listen to my vinyls because it's just like easy, like thoughtless. I'm just gonna put this on,
Yeah.
but it resonates with me differently, like than just putting on the same my liked songs on Spotify.
Yeah. Okay, so then kind of adjacent to that. So how often do you actively listen to music? Because I've been thinking about this as well, where it's like I play a lot of video games. I'll work from home or whatever. I'll always have music on like my second monitor on my phone or something. Drive to work, but it's like I haven't made a lot of time to actively listen to music where it's just me and the music. I close my eyes or I'm just
Mm-hmm.
looking at it and just actively listen to everything going on. It's like a
Yeah,
completely different experience.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like I seem like I feel like I treat music like a side
Oh,
piece.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it's like this is like music is one of the like strongest constants in my life, but I never make the time to make it the centerpiece.
Interesting.
Cuz like it's something completely different. Like it's profound listening to music actively, I would say, you know?
Yeah,
And it's like I just don't. I'm trying to do that more, but
yeah,
I feel like that's a creative process in itself.
yeah.
Because then it turns into like a high school English project, where now it's like, what does all this mean? What do I feel like? What is the artist saying through their music?
Mm-hmm.
Not even through their words, but their like meaning when they're performing and sharing.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I don't always do that. It can be emotionally exhausting.
Oh,
It I feel like it takes something a little bit because you're actively
right.
using all your senses there. Not all, probably not tasting the sound, but
No, never know. You have synesthesia, maybe.
I've listened to music with my mouth open for a long time, and I've never gotten anything.
This music tastes like sun chips.
Ooh, yeah. Even umami.
I think it's a really interesting concept, and I think it's also really funny that you call it a side hoe. So to answer your question, first of all,
Okay, side piece. Let me just clear my
all right, sorry,
governmental name.
I
really.
said side hoe,
Yeah.
because we all knew what you meant. To answer your question, I have not just listened to music in years. I used to do it a lot back in the day, like before social media, because that's like what you did. I did homework and I listened to music. Or like
Yeah.
a lot of music was on YouTube at the time, so like there was like something to watch or like there was some element of it, but it was really like enjoying the music. And I used to listen to music to go to sleep, so there'd be like a long period of time and I would listen to music on the bus. There was a lot of time that I spent where the only thing I was doing was listening to music.
Hmm.
I would say that hasn't happened in my adult life.
Yeah.
The only time I have just sat, actually, that's not true. I think that's been something I've been trying to do a little bit more recently, particularly watching concerts on YouTube.
Yeah.
I have been really loving watching performances on YouTube. And even though like I'm watching it, I think I'm watching like them perform, but it really is like the only time all I'm doing is being like locked into music of some form.
Yeah.
Or like a couple years ago when I would like get high and listen to music.
Hmm.
But it was like I needed to do that first to listen to music because I didn't have the attention span to just like sit there and listen to music.
Yeah.
I think that's a big issue for me with it is the attention span. Like I need to be doing something else.
Yeah. I guess it's more like maybe it's me treating music like meditation in a sense.
Yeah.
Where it's this introspective and analytical process at times that can teach you about yourself and I guess the artist as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know if I'm getting too like idyllic about it. But it's like, because I'm not trying to be like a
No.
purist or it's like it has to be listened this way or whatever. It's more so, it's something I found like if I do it more, it's actually like, it's pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
it's worth it. In the same way,
Yeah.
it's like if you have a really good meal, like I'm a big fan just sitting down and watching something on TV and eating a great meal. And it's like the same could be said about that, where it's like, what if I just sat at a table in silence and just ate,
Yeah.
delicious food and really
Yeah.
focused on it and ate with intention. I guess it's more like maybe it's going into the realm of mindfulness,
Yeah.
but I like I said, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater and like it has to be this way, but I think it's more like, for me at least, I've
Yeah.
gained some by trying to be more intentional about it.
Yeah. I think it's just a different form, a different way of enjoying it. It's the same thing with like a movie. Like I'm sure there's a lot of movies that you or I would be like, how could anybody do anything else while watching this movie? Like
Yeah.
this is a great movie. But there's a lot of people who would be like, I'm scrolling my phone while I'm watching this movie.
Yeah.
Like if you dedicate your entire attention to a song, you'll probably hear things. You'll probably experience it in potentially a more fulfilling way. Notice things about the song that you didn't notice before. And that could be a really cool experience. I think what you were saying earlier about it being a potentially emotionally draining experience is why I don't do it that much.
Yeah.
For real, like I think it like I just don't like to be alone with my own thoughts.
Yeah.
So I'll like listen to music while I'm going on a walk or while I'm driving. I won't listen to music while I'm going to sleep because
Yeah.
that gets my mind going too much and I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Like it's definitely good at times, and I think it helps, especially if you're like dealing with a lot or whatever. It's so good to just have a mind-numbing experience. Then I guess the flip side of that as well is like if you go, I feel like I've gone too deep into that path to where it's like almost like you wake up and it's next week, you wake up and it's next month, you wake up and it's a year. It's like, wow, what's happening? It's this lack of. I mean, I guess it comes down probably referencing old episodes about balance, where it is like this lack of balance. So I'm recalibrating to be more mindful,
Yeah.
but it's kind of that I'm not fully locked in, giving my full attention to anything. I'm trying to do that more with music as well, like playing the guitar. After work, I'll just sit outside and just play, just me and my guitar. And that's
Yeah.
helpful, because I could do that on my couch with a YouTube video on, but it's nice just me and the guitar and there's the pauses are silent.
Yeah.
Just being more mindful to kind of make it so time isn't flying. Because when time flies that consistently, at least for me, it gets into this scary, like, slippery slope if it feels like decay in a sense, or it feels like
Yeah.
you're just going through it. Because, like, if you're the same person, the exact same person you were 3 years ago, I almost consider that, like,
Kinda like
downgrading for a lack of.
Plateaued. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to plateau.
But even then, like, the world's constantly evolving, culture's evolving, everything's evolving around you. So plateauing in a world where it's constantly slowly improving means you're kind of falling behind
Yeah.
to some degree. Like, I'm speaking like big level, theoretically.
Yeah.
But so that aspect is like kind of scary to me. And so it's like after, I don't know, maybe it's like the last few years have kind of felt like that a little bit, just kind of getting by, going through the motions. And so now I'm trying to be more mindful. And creativity goes hand in hand because to create, you can't do it passively.
Yeah.
You have to do it actively. So yeah,
It's so interesting that you say that because just this morning I was thinking, and I was actually going to bring it up on the podcast.
Ooh,
like,
gotcha.
this
Sorry.
is the first time in my life that I haven't had any goals, like any like major milestone goals.
Yeah.
Like I would love to buy a house. I think that's probably the one that's like kind of in there, but it's
Sure.
also like not something I'm really attached to because it's going to be so difficult to actually accomplish
Yeah.
that I'm like, yeah, I guess like if I had to, if I had one wish, I'd probably like be like, yeah, I could have a sick house for free.
Yeah.
That would be great. But like, it's not something that I'm like every day going after. compared to like 2, 3 years ago, I literally had like notebooks with like 10 goals that I was actively going after, all of them at the same time. And my entire life has been like that.
Yeah.
But I think this is like the happiest I've ever been in a lot of ways because I've been engaged in so many of like real activities that are happening now.
Yeah.
And it has slowed my life down so much. And things like playing guitar, watching movies, like, but comfort movies, not like just whatever's coming out, but like
Yeah.
hanging out with people, but in like that, like going to concerts with you, like those things. And it reminds me of, have you seen those? I don't know if they're like memes or just like videos, but like videos people post of like, I almost forgot this was the point. And it'll be them like at the top of a mountain or like having birthday dinner with their family or something like that.
No, I've never seen that.
Yeah, and like that's the whole thing. Like everybody being like, I almost forgot. Like this is the point. Like it's not going to work. It's not doing all the shit in my day that I don't want to do. It's like I'm doing those things so that I can do this. I feel like I came to that realization like last year or the year before that maybe of like the point of my life is not to chase after other things. I think I had to work really hard to be able to get myself in a stable enough position that I could focus on other things that just bring me joy and don't really quote unquote contribute to my future.
Yeah.
But I think that that's like what has made the last year so meaningful is like me engaging with the things that I guess are bringing mindfulness into my life and bringing creativity that makes me feel so like creativity and inspiration really fuels me and re-energizes me and like gets me back to that point of balance where I can deal with all the other shit that's like really hard to deal with in life.
Yeah.
That's what you made me that's what I think of
Yeah.
when
Well, first off, as a sidebar, you're the one that got me like off YouTube Shorts, and now you're referencing. Oh, you haven't seen this new trend reel? No, I haven't, Nepali. I'm off the grid now, so thanks.
I'm pretty sure
Now I'm out of touch.
I'm pretty sure the day after I convinced Sonali to delete Instagram, I reinstalled Instagram after like a year. And then like the week after I told you like just delete YouTube. Like
Yeah.
now I always find myself on YouTube. I'm currently in and this conversation though, let me just say,
Yeah.
you talking about guitar, talking about listening to music is making me want to just delete my apps. I was thinking about it in the car on the way this morning. I think I just got to delete social media again.
Okay, because I think it's not that binary. It's not that distinct.
No,
of
but it's
just-
more fun to just be one or the other.
It is, but because I had this is kind of building off what you were just saying. I feel like for me, I went through this in my teenage years, especially, a little bit in my late teens as well, of just my relationship with video games. Because for me, it was something that could be profound, especially like games. Some games have really good art and direction. And some of them are just, you join into a Call of Duty game and 15 minutes later you leave and nothing changed. Mm-hmm. And sometimes even that there's competition and whatnot. So sometimes I would go all in, or like I'm very competitive. I wanted to be a pro gamer and stuff. And sometimes I'll be like, no video games whatsoever. It's completely just a waste of time. I'm above that. It's degenerate, something like that.
Okay.
I didn't actually say that, but those are like some of the lingering feelings of like, I
But
need
you
to be
actually
doing
felt
more.
like that? Interesting.
Yeah, and that's what
Okay.
I was doing like 15 martial arts classes a week and guitar and piano lessons.
Okay, yeah.
So stuff, I don't think that was the era of that, but I've had those thoughts and I've treated it as this on and off thing. But as I'm getting older, it's more of that balance where you can say about social media or just stuff where it's mind numbing. But I feel like sometimes you got to slow down. Like if you're just going through life, not, smelling the flowers, then it's
Yeah.
like you need to slow down because you're going to wake up and it's 10 years later and you're
Yeah.
no different for it. And then other times it's like, what happens if you have like a bad day at work? What happens if you woke up, you just don't have much in you on that Saturday or something? You need something mind numbing then. You need something that's just, I don't want to think about it. I'm just trying to enjoy myself. That's unavoidable sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like there's this balance of, well, what happens if that occurs and you're off social media completely, you have no fun vices, you know? It's like it's too pure. It's not, there's no chaos. It's just all order. And in those times, I'm like, I really do appreciate having YouTube Shorts. I really do
Yeah.
appreciate listening to music on the side and just not appreciating it. I just like
Yeah.
maybe getting high and watching some videos. It doesn't have to be profound or meaningful too.
No,
I don't have to slow down,
I
So
totally agree. I don't think that anyone's life, like, unless you're a monk, like your whole life doesn't need to be profound.
yeah,
However, I do wonder a lot of if the options available to us are too easy.
yes,
Like if I didn't have internet and I was feeling some type of way, my only option might be to like go for a walk or journal or like watch a movie, like long form content that's going to ground me instead of short form content that is probably going to just spike my dopamine levels and put me even more off balance afterward.
yeah,
So I do think that while I think a lot of it has a place, and there have been times in the last few months where I just needed to not think. I needed the numbness,
yeah.
and that short form content did its job.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I'm sure you could make the case that like if you are feeling that way, you probably just need to confront your emotions, not run from them.
sure.
And I'm not saying that like that's the right path. I'm just saying that I think that that probably result in more desirable results sooner. So sometimes I think it's a bit of a crutch.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think it's easier to fall into the mind numbing side of things.
Yeah.
It's because that's they everything wants you to get addicted to it now. That's just
Yeah.
the goal, right? It's kind of toxic, but it makes it so accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the flip side of that is probably us in our teenage years or early 20s of just like with our upbringing and everything. It's like perfect grades, get a good job, climb, and
Mm-hmm.
do
Yeah.
everything as it should be. But it's like that's the complete opposite end. And so then it's like, it's so tough to not be binary about it.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm highly regimented and I'm burning out, but I'm getting everything I want done. Or I'm on YouTube Shorts 4 hours a day,
Yeah.
7 days a week. I don't. And that's exactly what my recap is telling me every weekend, and I don't. I can't fight
I
it.
can't look at those.
I
I need
so
to look at mine.
annoying.
Maybe it will inspire me to,
Yeah.
to finally delete it. I think, just like with everything, it's moderation.
Which I hate. I detest moderation. It's so annoying. It is so not on my character sheet.
I think it's interesting though because short form content in particular has brought me a lot of the things that have brought me joy this year.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure I heard about the Gregory concert. Well, actually, Spotify has suggested a lot of the concerts that we've gone to this year.
Okay.
Love that feature. If you work at Spotify and you invented this feature, well done. But I discovered Goldford
Yeah.
on like a TikTok like a TikTok account that's just like music you've never heard before. Confirmed had not heard it before.
Yeah.
Loved it. Became obsessed. Maro I found on YouTube, not in a short, but I think her song Saudade got referred or recommended to me. So I think it's like alcohol to me. Like a lot of times drinking will make your night more fun,
Okay.
but it's such a slippery slope for everybody. Like alcohol in general. Like it's so hard to be moderate about it.
Yes.
And social media is
Agreed.
like the same way. Like it can elevate and enhance your experience, but more likely than not, you're just going to go too far and it's not going to be fun anymore.
Yeah. It's kind of like eating one chip out of the Dorito bag. It's like, it's tough. It's
After
impossible.
I just finished that entire
Yeah, I
bag
know.
of sun chips in front of you right
Eat
now on the
one
break.
yeah, it's like, yeah, it's tough.
No, I don't think that. I think it's pour yourself the chips in the bowl.
Yeah, it's the
Get
bowl.
a small bowl.
Yeah.
Don't walk around with the bag like I did.
Yeah.
I'm not a moderation person either. Can I just
Yeah.
say that? Like, I am an all in all the time type of person,
Yes.
which is why I go months deleting all my social media off my phone
Yeah.
at a time. And then I'll get back into it and then realize, okay, I'm falling back into these patterns. It's not like I'm feeling some type of way all the time. Because most of the time you open it and it just doesn't, like, within 10 seconds, I don't feel good anymore.
It sucks when you're like 45 minutes in and you're like, I saw like 6 good shorts in that time. And all the others, they're not even like bad. They're just mid.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not, it's just, I don't know. And then it's like, wow, I'm just like, I'm losing time.
Yeah.
But I don't want to move.
What else has been on your mind in the last year?
Ooh. Okay, a big one this month for me has been challenging the stories I tell myself, which
Oh.
is pretty like, I think that's like pretty general advice. People would be like, yeah, just see if like really evaluate it. But it is
Yeah.
like, do I really want something? But it's more, it's bigger thoughts that I haven't really questioned as much. And so now it's like, I question it, then I question what it means to actually get there, and what is that viable? Is that actually something I'd want to do? You know, does it actually fit the shoe right now? You know, it's like no in some ways, and it's like weird having these things where you tell yourself these things. These are my kind of like my life goals. These are things I've wanted for 5 years, 10 years. It's like the path there, and then also maintaining it. Is that actually something I'm looking to do in my current mental state, my current financial state, and whatnot? And it's like sometimes it's no, and I haven't really done that, and that with such grand things, you know, things that these are life goals. These are things I
Yeah.
really want. It's like what do I really like? What are my actual motives behind them? And just being honest with myself. And so that's like, I guess that's something I've been doing, which is like kind of cliche, and it's I'm sure everyone does it to some degree, but it's like actively doing it, you know, just
Yeah.
sitting there, laying in bed, sitting on a chair, and this is like, or at work, like I've kind of been getting ahead of work, so now I'm like, sometimes the last hour of work, I'll just sit there, my head in my hands, and just think, and it's like,
Oh God.
I'm like the only one in the office sometimes,
If
so
I did that, I wouldn't be here. I would not still be here.
not like head in my hands, like, oh God, how did I get here? Just more like, I'm just thinking,
Yeah, that's dangerous. That's dirty waters right there.
dirty waters.
Yeah.
But I think I'm cleaning up the polluted river.
Oh.
Yeah, it's getting better. But it is also just like, objectively, it could almost be seen as like bad in terms of life goals. Like, this is, I thought I had something, now I don't. And, that could be destabilizing at times, but then it's also like learning to be honest and coexist with reality is like freeing in some ways. Where it's like, maybe I think I want this, or maybe I'm romanticizing the idea, but in actuality, it's like, it's just not the right time.
Mm.
Not as a cop out or as an excuse, but as
Yeah.
a just, this is where I'm at, and it's okay to be there. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we don't have to do anything in this life. We can do anything we want in this life, and we don't have to
Yeah.
do anything.
I guess that's where the dangerous part for me would come in, where it's like, these are the two things I wanted. And now that I've sat down and thought about it in this current year, it's
Yeah.
like, maybe I don't want either of those things. So now I don't want anything, which
Does
is
it
like,
mess with your identity a little bit? Like, are you someone who really, like,
Yeah.
what I want and my goals are who I am?
100%. That, at least for me, it gives, like, I'm too merit based in my head. Like, I know reality isn't that merit based.
Okay.
And then also, like, I'm equating status with value and meaning in a sense, where it's like, just if you're a CEO, that doesn't make you anything. It is, that's your job and that's your income, And that
Yeah.
might change some elements of your personality, but it's not you. It's something you do. But I have always confused that a little bit, where it's like, oh wow, you're this good at this thing. You must be an awesome, fantastic person. I want to hang out with you. It's like there's still a person
Yeah.
that still needs to get vibe checked.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it's a little dangerous, but it is also like I'm trying to reshift the way I view things, change my perspective. The viewer of everything,
Yeah.
recalibrate. Okay, so I was just thinking, I have, let's see, 6 topics,
Okay.
or just thoughts, things I've thought of, and let's go. We can say 7 because I was thinking of one that I didn't add in. It should
Okay.
have been in, and we spoke about it. But I'll just say them. Won't linger on it too long.
Okay.
But you just give me your feedback as to if your thoughts on it, and then also is this like? And some of these I don't even like truly believe, but it's one of those like in your heart you kind of do, where
Okay, so you're telling me 6 beliefs, and
Kind-
I am just
some
roasting you?
kind of or agreeing.
Or agreeing. Okay.
Yeah. So if
I'm giving you my professional opinion.
yes.
Okay.
Because some of them are just like, someone's like, hey, you should do it this way. This is the proven way to do it, and it's better. And you're like, I'm sure it is, but in my heart, I believe my inefficient way is the best. It's kind of
Okay.
like that. So
All right.
let's see. So first one, we'll start off easy. We spoke about it a little bit. You have to break the rules before you can, or learn the rules before you can break them.
Yeah. I think I always hated this growing up because
Okay.
I think it's such a cop out. To me, it just always felt like a justification
Sure.
that people had for why they needed to follow the rules.
Yeah.
Or like as a teacher, you need to learn the rules because I wouldn't have a job if you didn't have to learn the rules first.
Yeah.
And I think especially when it's something as subjective as art, like if I know how to paint a perfect realistic person,
Yeah.
but what I'm selling you for $1 million is a white canvas with a yellow dot on it,
Yeah.
did you need to know the rules? Like,
Maybe I would change it or redact it to like, maybe you'd want to or should learn the rules if you wanted to progress your art.
yeah,
It could help
Yeah.
before you break them.
right,
Not as I don't think you need to or should.
right.
I don't want to add value judgment into it, but sorry, I cut you off there.
No, that's okay. I feel like it's like, I don't think you do. I can see the value in knowing the rules. And I think it adds a layer of intention because if you know the rules and you still broke them, then that means something.
Yeah.
And it's part of the interpretation. Like I think about singers, there's a lot of singers who are not like the most pristine singers.
Yeah.
And I think they could be, but their style is just all over the place. But
Yeah.
sometimes it just sounds like they're like out of key.
Yeah.
And that's just their style. Doesn't matter at the end of the day if they know how to sing in key and they're just not, or if they just showed up and like this is how they sing and people are okay with that and they enjoy it. Like I don't think it matters at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay. So how would you rate that on the unhinged scale from 1 to 10?
Unhinged?
Yeah.
That you believe that?
Or to a degree.
Is 10
yeah.
the most unhinged?
10 is the most.
I would say that's like a 1.5.
Nice. Okay.
Like not unhinged. Most people believe that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to see if I've gotten my list in a like progressive order from least to most. So, okay, then next, if you find inner peace, it'll also grant outer peace.
What is outer peace?
As in like your peace with the world around you and everything that happens. To a degree, like not 100%, but if you're at peace with yourself, then let's just say something happens, right?
I agree 100%.
Okay.
100%. And I think I've actually been like living this and thinking about it a lot. Because emotions aren't real. Like
Yeah.
our experience with where our thoughts aren't even real. Like we're just interpreting things. Our brain is having electricity or whatever the fuck happens in your brain, and you're interpreting it as emotions, as thoughts, as meaning. So when something bad happens to you, bad emotions are still bad emotions and we don't want to feel them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you have inner peace, I think about it as balance. Like to me, peace means balance. It means that no matter how hard somebody like tips me one way, I'm coming back to center.
Yeah.
And the more like peace you have, the quicker that happens. It's not that it doesn't bother you. Like if somebody slapped, if I have inner peace, someone slaps me. It's not that it doesn't bother me. It's just like
peace, love,
yeah,
prosperity. It's all good.
Basically, yeah. I might not start a fight. Do I want to be that person? No, I definitely want to be the person that would hit them back. But it doesn't ruin the rest of my day. I still have my day.
'Cause for me, it's always been like meditation's the closest I get to inner peace, or it helps me get there.
Okay.
And it's one of the meditative practices, or like noting your thoughts and whatnot. So it's like, I think there's like one visualization of you sitting at the like a side of a highway, watching cars go by. The cars are your thoughts. It's like when you're actually there and you can let them go by. Mm-hmm. You're in like the driver's seat, not no pun intended. And it's like, then you have that choice when something bad happens. Like, let me let those emotions go and then have a clear head moving forward with this issue and stuff. But okay, damn, that's probably one, isn't it? They're
Yeah,
going
that's
back.
not unhinged. It's
I
really,
know.
I feel like, I mean,
No, it's not like. 'Cause
It's not unhinged.
definitely not. But I just want a rating for all the
Yeah.
different. But yeah, it's
I would
definitely
say
not.
I'd say
Almost
it's
a
probably like a
0.
2.2 because I think there's a level of you gotta like let go of traditional life to believe that.
Yeah, it's
So
too idyllic at times.
yeah, so
Or
we'll say
it's
2.2. But I think
okay.
that's what you should strive toward is what I'm striving towards.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's amp it up a little bit. Okay. If you're not in your own home, you should burp in your mouth like the rest of us and be civilized. I don't want to hear your belch.
That's what I've been doing this whole podcast. You would
Yes.
not believe how many burps I had to edit out of the last podcast.
I remember that one.
I was dying when I was editing. I was like,
we were like in the middle of a conversation. You're like, 1 second.
yeah, because I couldn't even burp because if the mic picked it up, then I would have had to lose
Yeah.
that whole. Okay,
I
so
think in your home you deserve to do whatever you want, or even in other people's homes. But
Okay, so
outside.
so you think you shouldn't burp in public, basically?
Yeah, like if you're in the office, if you're in the work office, I don't want to hear a belch at
Yeah, it's
12:45.
definitely disgusting. I would say I burp in my parents' house all the time. My mom hates it. So I feel like I have to agree with this logic, but like, do I live that? To some extent, it is kind of just like, I don't know, everyone burps, but it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yes, I would say in this scenario, your parents' house wouldn't count because it's still a home. Let's
Yeah.
say home's out of the equation, right? Public places.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah?
It's gross.
Yeah.
Can you do whatever you want in this world? Yeah. But I'm gonna judge you for it if you burp next to me, and I'm gonna think you're disgusting.
Yeah, because every time I'm just like, burp in your mouth like the rest of us. Be civilized. Like, that's in my head. Like, come on, man.
I think
Do
you should
better.
say it out loud next time.
Because it's like, for the rest, like, it's like putting your cart away at the cart corral at a Walmart. Just do it. Do it for your community.
I definitely spend a lot of time not doing that.
Oh no, really? Oh shoot. Okay.
But I also spend a lot of time doing that.
Okay.
And if I see a cart rolling towards someone's car, I have run to stop carts from hitting
Okay.
cars before that weren't
Nice.
mine.
Respect. I appreciate the vulnerability.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you rate the burp take?
Unhinged, 1.
A
I
1?
think that's accurate.
Wow,
You're
okay.
right.
Dang, so we didn't get a nice.
These are all really civil. You're like really hitting like
Oh,
inner peace on these.
yeah, definitely. Okay, and then here, if you de-seed a pepper, for the heat, you don't deserve the flavor, and you should be ashamed. I think if you can't handle a habanero and you're taking the guts out, get a fucking bell pepper. You'll still.
Hey, okay.
You'll still hit up.
That one feels
Let me
personal.
cook. No, it wasn't you. No, I'm talking in general.
Yeah, but I do that every single
didn't.
day.
I didn't.
Every single day. If I make like an egg with a green chili in it, I'm taking the seeds out because I can't handle it. But I love no. Okay, see that?
I had no idea you did that.
How did you not know?
I just didn't. But yeah, I followed a vegan YouTuber, and anytime if someone handles a hot pepper with gloves, or if they de-seed it, I unfollow. And I loved her videos because she would do fun, like, viral stuff, right? And sidebar, 2 things. Yeah, I'll unfollow someone for that, and then if they ever make YouTube shorts in more than one part, it's not a short, that's a video, and I will unfollow you no matter how much I love your content. And so, yeah, she posts these like fun like vegan challenges comparing different brands, and I'm like, you just de-seeded,
Riaz.
you just de-seeded a pepper. I'm gonna have to let you
That's
go.
okay. Well, several things. First of all, that's
Sure.
so elitist. Okay, like, sorry, some of us can't handle spice. All right, like I didn't
Yes.
choose this. I wish I was unhinged enough to be able to enjoy spicy food.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
Second of all, I have posted on this Dirty Waters channel a video in 2 parts.
Okay. It's short?
Yeah.
Okay, respect.
The tortilla chip.
Hey,
Part 2.
It works.
But in my defense, you didn't really need to watch part 2. It wasn't like I was holding off the ending and making you come back for more.
Because they held up on their own.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
If it's something where it's clearly
Okay.
like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
2.
Yeah. All right. So then I
That's
agree with you on
semantics.
that one.
Okay.
But the peppers, like, and also the gloves thing is not nice. Like, that's so unnecessary. That's just judgmental.
I know,
Like,
take 'em off.
No,
I'm with you. I'm
no.
with you, Nepali.
You
Gloves
need
are
gloves.
stupid.
I don't understand why anyone would eat a pepper that is physically harmful to the outside of their body in the first place.
Yeah, weak genes. keep going.
So I guess I kind of agree with that. The gloves, like if you're gonna eat, why even eat that? I think the YouTuber, if you're a YouTube pepper channel, why would you be seeding the pepper to begin with,
Yeah.
the hot pepper? But for me, I love like acidic food. So peppers to me, I love the flavor of.
Yeah.
I just literally can't handle the heat. So like the spiciest thing I could possibly eat is like a green chili,
Yeah.
like an Indian green chili. And if I keep the seeds in, it's just not, there's no way on earth I could possibly enjoy it.
Yeah.
So my compromise is that I have to seed it and then I can, it's still too spicy for me, but I can tolerate it.
Yeah.
So I think
Well,
that's elitist.
maybe, but I still think people should have the opportunity to de-seed their peppers and devein it and whatever. I just don't think they deserve the flavor because you're breaking it up. It's how it was made, you know. It's natural. It's a whole food at the start, and it could be put in, and we're destroying it. We're taking it apart. We're hacking it.
Yeah, but this sounds like if you aren't if you have like a physical disability,
Yeah, don't eat peppers.
yeah, you don't deserve to climb to a top of a mountain. So there shouldn't be like a
Oh,
walking
you're trying to
path.
get me canceled.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
the
what this is
bully.
really this is ableism. Like sorry I can't physically tolerate. Sorry I'm not mentally tortured enough to be able to enjoy peppers.
Yeah.
5 out of 10 on this one. 5 out of
Good.
10.
I knew this was going up.
And it feels really personal. So.
I swear I had no idea this is something you suffered from. This one is, I know it's not true, but I still feel it to be true. And maybe it's something that only applies to
Okay,
me.
I'm nervous.
I think I mentioned you can't make beautiful art with glasses on.
What? What does that even mean?
You just can't. It's just, okay, look, if you're an artist, you're like Picasso or something, you're not painting that hillside through a window pane. It's stupid. There's just a window. It's like distorting it. It's not.
But
it's
if
not
you're wearing
right.
glasses, that means you can't see.
Yeah.
There's no way you believe that.
I mean, for me, it's like if I take my glasses off, I play the guitar so much better.
That's
It's just-
so different. Guitar does not
I know,
require you
but
to
I'm-
see.
But even then, it's like, would you paint a picture through a window? Because that's what this is. This is an awful up close window.
Yeah, but that's like being like, you're comparing painting a vista through an open window
Yeah.
or painting a vista with the curtains closed.
Yes.
You need the window is better.
Yeah. and
Open
then
window.
If there's scratches in your glasses, if it's dirty, if it's greasy, it's not going to help.
No, this is pure psychotic. I'm not even weighing in on this.
And look, I know it doesn't make sense. There's so many people with glasses on that have probably
I
written
think-
songs with glasses, and they still have good
Okay,
music.
if you're talking about music, like a sensory thing that has nothing to do with your sight, I
What-
think that it is creative to remove one of your senses so that you can focus on a different one.
But then
if you're talking about you're talking about a craft that requires that particular sense that you're numbing, questionable all around.
But then it goes into my.
It's giving modern art.
You take your glasses off and you start splashing paint on the canvas.
Exactly.
But then okay, but what art would help? Okay, but this goes into the sister question, which is my last piece.
Okay.
So I do believe you can create beautiful art with contact lenses on. Because I thought about that. You do need to see, but if Picasso had like contact lenses, I'm
Sounds
fine.
like some contact lens propaganda right here.
I haven't named any brands. This is not a paid promotion. So that covers the flaws of my first take, I think. So if it is visual, wear contact lenses.
The whole package is an 8 out of 10 unhinged. The fact that you would even say this out loud is
And
unhinged.
are you averaging it like the first one, glasses, no art, 10 out of 10, this is a 6 out of 10?
No, the two of them together, just like the fact that you even think
And
that your glasses, this is also elitist. I think you're a little bit elitist.
I am.
You're saying you ought to, if you're trying to create, you ought to have perfect vision.
I think this is me, like, when I really just think about something, and I think about what is peak performance. What is someone operating at 100%? They don't have glasses.
Elitist.
I mean, maybe. I don't have contact lenses. So I can never make visual art unless I get really close and I'm sketching. I'm a lost cause. Which is why I stick to the oral art. Oh god, not again. We've gone through this rabbit hole. AURAL. The oral arts.
Isn't? Can you just say auditory?
I didn't think of that word.
We know you're a master of the oral arts.
There we go. We're back, folks. So, okay, so that was a pretty steep increase then, I guess, on the takes.
Yeah, I think you should be burned at the stake for the last one. That is bad.
And I want you to know, I think I told this to you 5 years ago, and I held this fake belief back then, and I still, I don't like I said, I think it's wrong,
But you believe it anyway.
but my heart feels otherwise.
Oh my god.
If I'm recording music, I want my glasses off.
That again, that makes sense. But to generalize,
Say
you
art,
didn't say you
music.
play better guitar with your glasses off. I would have maybe hopped onto that ship. But to just say you can't create good art in general, including like paintings with glasses
best.
on,
Yeah.
is beyond unhinged. I mean, I can't even begin to.
Yeah, it's not. And listen, I open with that. I'm being vulnerable. I know how it sounds. This is just something that I think this is also like one of those, like I'm getting villager brain here, where I'm really like correlation and causation. Like these are intertwined here, because this is like something that's partially true for me. So I'm casting a wide net here.
That's bad. That's
Yeah.
really bad. I think.
No. Like I said, I don't believe it, but maybe I believe it, and I don't think it's true. But
Those two
I don't
things
know.
can't go together, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just in my heart, deep down. It's something I think, but
I think we're gonna have to next episode come back to that. Can you believe something and also know it to not be true?
oh,
That's actually a really interesting question.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, kinda. It's just being at odds with it, and that's where I'm at. Where it's like, clearly this is only applying to one situation, but then,
Okay.
yeah.
We're gonna have to unpack that next time. Thank you guys for listening to episode 4 of Dirty Waters.
Take your glasses off.